my God. Do you see him, Joe? Far left. Left to the left of the palm tree. Oh my God. But they took it.
Oh,
Yep. He's right there. Joe, he's behind the palm tree right now.
I don't see it.
He's, Joe. Trudeau and Malone.
This is my video update on this Tuesday evening, November 19th, coming to you from Budapest, Hungary. I finally found some time late night here in Budapest to record a video. It's been a very long day. My brain is fried. It is fried. It is Joe Biden mishmash. That's my brain. Joe Biden mashed potatoes right now at this moment. So if I make some mistakes during this video, I apologize in advance, but I wanted to get a video out today because there is a lot of news that we need to talk about. And the big news, of course, is that we have had the first ATACMS launched into pre-2014 Russian territory. 6 ATACMS missiles were launched from Ukraine into Bryansk, towards the Bryansk Oblast. 6 ATACMS and 6 ATACMS launched, 6 ATACMS downed. That's the report the reports that we are getting. Let's see, the ATACMS. The ATACMS were US-made MGM-140 ATACMS missiles to strike the main missile and artillery directorate, the GRAU arsenal in Karachev, Bryansk Oblast. As previously noted, Ukraine is not able to program these missiles themselves, but American personnel has to do that. Yeah, the US has to program the ATACMS. They have to do everything pretty much to launch these ATACMS. So yeah, the US has attacked Russia. Absolutely. The same holds true for the Storm Shadows and the Scalp missiles as well. The UK and France, they can't launch the Storm Shadows or the Scalp missiles. The US has to program them. They have US components and parts, so the US has to give permission. Basically, Storm Shadow and Scalp missiles, France and the UK, when they talk about giving Ukraine permission to launch missiles into Russia, it's the US. It's the US giving permission to Ukraine, if you want to call it that, if you want to phrase it like that, giving permission to Ukraine to launch missiles into pre-2014 Russia. But it is the US. It's the US that's essentially attacking Russian territory, crossing the Russian red line. And this is a real Russian red line. But the 6 ATACMS, they were all downed. And that's how I think this is going to go. I think the Russians are going to handle this. They'll handle the ATACMS. They will handle the Storm Shadows. They will handle the Scout missiles. Is Russia going to have to take an action and retaliate against the United States, against possibly France and the UK, once that gets approved against Ukraine? Yeah, absolutely. They're going to have to. You have to save face here. You're going to have to do something. You can't appear weak in this situation. And you've laid down a red line. You've made it very public that this is a red line. And so you're going to have to take action. What is that action going to be? As I said in my video yesterday, we don't know. But the Russians have planned for this. Well, they've been saying for months now that the United States will give the green light for long-range missile strikes into pre-2014 Russian territory. The Russians knew this was coming. So if they've been saying that they knew this was coming, you better believe that they've planned everything out, including how they're going to retaliate. But they'll handle the missiles. They'll handle the storm shadows, the scalps, the Taurus. Eventually the Taurus will get approved. The ATACMS. I'm not saying that some missiles might not get through. Some missiles very possibly will get through. That's very possible, very probable. But it's not going to change the trajectory of the war. And Russia's not going to jeopardize the path that it's on, which is to fulfill the objectives of the special military operation, to defeat Ukraine, to defeat the proxy, NATO. NATO, in essence, is what Russia's going to be defeating, and to defeat the United States, which has now technically, officially entered the war, you could say. Even though the Pentagon, they made a statement today saying that they're not at war with Russia. They were asked about the change in Russia's nuclear doctrine because today, either today or yesterday, Putin signed the change in Russia's nuclear doctrine. We knew this was coming. We knew that Putin was going to sign this. We've talked about the change in their nuclear doctrine, in Russia's nuclear doctrine. But he signed it either yesterday or today, which you got to imagine is Russia sending a message to the collective West, to the United States, by Putin signing the change specifically as Biden is on the same days that Biden is giving the approval to Zelensky to launch ATACMS into Russia. So it's definitely Russia and Putin sending a message. But the Pentagon was asked about the change in nuclear doctrine, and the Pentagon spokeswoman, she said that the U.S. is not at war with Russia. She made it clear to say that the U.S. is not at war with Russia. But the nuclear doctrine change, we know what it is. Basically, it's saying that if a non-nuclear country and a nuclear country team up to attack Russia, well, Russia will see that as both countries teaming up to attack Russia, and they can take action against both countries. That's what the change in the nuclear doctrine says. So when a nuclear United States teams up with a non-nuclear Ukraine and they attack Russia, then Russia has the right to not only go after the United States, which is a nuclear country, but they have the right now, according to the doctrine, to also go after Ukraine. That's what the change says. Actually, let me read you exactly what it says. An aggression of any single state from a military coalition bloc alliance against the Russian Federation and/or its allies will be regarded as an aggression of the coalition bloc alliance as a whole. An aggression against the Russian Federation and/or its allies of any non-nuclear state with the participation or support of a nuclear state will be regarded as their joint attack. It will be regarded as their joint attack. And then Russia can attack both of these states, even the non-nuclear one. So Ukraine's in a world of trouble. They are in a world of trouble. Zelensky, he is in a world of trouble. He doesn't realize it. And I'll tell you something. We had some amazing meetings throughout the entire day with government officials here in Hungary. Very impressive government officials here in Hungary, by the way. I'm jealous. I wish my country had these people in government. I mean, Hungary's government ministers and deputy ministers, they're super smart. They're super smart and very easy to talk to. They're very clear. They make a lot of sense in their policies when they talk to you about their policies. They're very rational, very pragmatic, and they're just really sharp. But I'll let you guys in on some inside info. Zelensky's delusional, man. Trust me. I mean, I got some info. Zelensky's delusional. He's delusional. Yeah. He actually doesn't quite understand what he's gotten himself into with these long-range missile strikes into Russia. I'll just leave it there. But Russia's going to handle it. Yeah, Russia's going to handle it. Lavrov said that the long-range missile strikes, it's a signal that the collective West, seek escalation, and Putin has issued his warnings already. That is what Lavrov said. And Maria Zakharova said that this changes the nature of the conflict, and she's right. It's not that the ATACMS and the scalps and the storm shadows, when they're approved, it's not that they're going to change the outcome of the conflict. What they do change is they change the nature, which means that now you have the United States attacking Russia. That's what they mean when they say it changes the nature. It's not going to change the outcome, but it changes the way the conflict has been going for the past 3 years, from a proxy war to not a proxy war, right? That's the way I see it. It was a proxy war, and everyone knew it was a proxy war, and now it's not so proxy anymore. Yeah, and eventually the Taurus missiles will also be approved, Germany, and then Germany will enter the conflict, right? Eventually, that's what's going to happen. Give it time. Zelensky's already talking about Germany giving permission, handing over Taurus missiles to Ukraine, and then launching those Taurus missiles. We know that German military has to launch those missiles. We know that from the leaked audio phone calls from about a year ago of German military officials saying that Ukraine cannot launch these Taurus missiles. We, as German military, we have to launch these Taurus missiles. So when the Taurus missiles get the green light, which I say there's a better than 50% chance that that's going to happen, especially if Friedrich Merz, BlackRock Merz, wins the elections, then it means that Germany is also entering the conflict, because they're going to be the ones that are going to be firing the missiles towards Russia. Anyway, that's what Zelensky said. He's now putting a lot of pressure on Germany to hand over the Taurus missiles. Borrell, Jungle Joseph, he was asked about the EU giving permission as the European Union giving permission to Zelensky to strike Russian territory. And Borrell said it's not a matter for the European Union, it's the individual member states that, actually let's walk up this way, that give permission. So that was Jungle Joseph's response. Fico of Slovakia, one of two rational EU leaders, along with Orban, Fico said that this is a bad idea. He said this is unprecedented, an unprecedented escalation. But he also said that this is all about frustrating and delaying, to frustrate and delay Trump peace talks. That's what Fico said in his statement. And Mike Waltz said that the Trump administration, the incoming Trump administration, Mike Waltz being the incoming NSA guy, he said that the Trump White House was not informed on any of this. Even when Trump met with Biden in the Oval Office the other day, Biden did not tell him any of this. So this was, according to Mike Waltz, this was a surprise, a shock and a surprise. And he basically said that this is about Biden escalating before the Trump administration takes over, making things very difficult for the Trump White House. He said that's what pretty much this is about. And France, their defense minister, speaking on behalf of itsy bitsy balls Macron. We got big balls Trudeau, and now we got itsy bitsy balls Macron. I think it was the defense minister. He said that France is pursuing strategic ambiguity when it comes to long-range missile strikes into Russia. France has not decided if they're going to give permission to Ukraine to launch long-range missile strikes, Scout missiles, into Russia. That's what France said. And that's how you know this is a lot of this is BS, right? That's how you know a lot of this is BS, because it's not up to France to decide. We know that. We know that this is not France's decision. France cannot launch Scout missiles into Ukraine unless the US does it for them. The Scout missile has US parts, it needs the US's permission, and it needs the US technology and targeting. So when France comes out with a statement saying, well, we haven't decided yet what we're going to do, that's a bunch of BS. All roads go back to the Biden White House. The Biden White House is going to decide when and if France is going to give its permission, so to speak, to give its permission to the Zelensky regime to fire long-range missiles into Russia. At the end of the day, it's about the U.S. It's about the U.S. firing ATACMS, firing scalps, firing storm shadows. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day, because the U.S. has to give the permission, and they've got the the technical capabilities. They're the only ones that have the technical capabilities to launch those missiles. So yeah, it changes the nature of the conflict, and Russia's going to deal with it. And they're going to deal with it in a measured, calibrated way. Are they going to find, do they have ways to retaliate? Yes. I think they've planned this all out. It's going to be calibrated though, and it's going to be measured. And my hunch, my hope, it's a hope, it's a hunch. Putin and Russia, they're not going to escalate us, escalate the world towards World War III. That's my hunch on all of this. But, you know, we're in a very dangerous situation, very dangerous escalation situation. And Russia's going to have to do something because they have to save face, right? You can't say this is a red line and then you don't do anything. You know, that's not possible either. So I think that's everything with the ATACMS. There'll be more ATACMS launched, and Russia will knock them down. They'll knock down most of them. That's just how this is going to go. But you know, I was thinking this morning that a lot of the ATACMS story, the narrative around the ATACMS, as I was reading about ATACMS hitting Kursk, I kept on reading in the collective West media, ATACMS are going to hit Kursk. They're going to hit Kursk. They're going to go after the North Korean troops. And as I was reading these articles from collective West media, and I was just thinking, a lot of this is also just about distracting away from the collapse in Donbas. They have to keep everyone's attention hyper-focused on Kursk. Because it was getting out over the past couple of weeks, it was getting out that Kursk was really a debacle. It was General Zelensky at his dumbest, going with the whole Kursk incursion. And so they needed to refocus everyone back on Kursk, stop reporting about Donbas, stop reporting about the collapse that is happening in Donbas. Zelensky, he's checked out of Donbas a long time ago. He doesn't care anymore. That's obvious. Even though he was in Pokrovsk and Kupiansk, which means that those cities, those towns are going to fall to Russia pretty soon, because whenever Zelensky visits an area, that area is eventually captured by Russia. But he's checked out of Donbas a long time ago, and they're hyper-focused on Kursk. They want to keep everyone's attention focused on Kursk because they don't want people taking a look at the collapse that's happening in the Donbas. And then saying, you know, I thought we were winning. But what I'm seeing here is Russia capturing town after town, village after village. Every single day, 2-3 villages are being captured by Russia. What's going on here? Are you telling me that the Biden White House and the collective West media lied to us? Is that what you guys are telling me? They don't want people to say that. So yeah, I think a lot of this is about keeping the focus and the attention on the Kursk incursion. I have no idea where I am going, but let's walk. I think we can walk anyway, even though I'm not sure where this is going to take me to. So yeah, Stoltenberg is going to be the head of the Bilderberg. Did you guys hear about that? Stolte got I think that's a promotion. Going from NATO to the Bilderberg? Yeah, I would say that's a promotion. No doubt about it. So let's talk about the G20, and we'll wrap this video up. So Zelensky, he wasn't invited to the G20. They didn't invite him to the G20, and Olaf Scholz was really upset. Olaf Scholz made a statement and said, I'm very sad that my buddy Zelensky is not going to be at the G20. A pirate needs its first mate. Arg. Zelensky's my first mate, arg. I'm Pirate Scholz. Yeah, Olaf Scholz is actually on record saying that he was very upset that Zelensky wasn't invited to the G20. Why in God's name would Ukraine go to the G20? Why? Is it a G20 country? Maybe it's a G20 country in reverse. Even before the conflict, Ukraine was not a G20 country, not even close, not even remotely close. What do you guys think? I say we go this way. Yeah, I think down there is probably a lot safer, but I think Budapest is a very safe city at night. This looks much more interesting. This small little street. Yeah, so the pirate was heartbroken that his little buddy wasn't in Brazil. So Zelensky went to Pokrovsk and Kupiansk to make sure that those cities are captured by Russia. Visiting those cities, sprinkling a little Zelensky curse, and yeah, that's what he ended up doing. But the G20 was interesting. Starmer made a fool of himself, big time. The most boring man in politics. He met with Xi Jinping, and he sits down with Xi Jinping. First of all, the handshake between Xi Jinping and Starmer, you could tell that the Chinese leader was not excited to be meeting with Starmer, right? That was a handshake. His handshake says it all. His handshake is, why do I have to meet with this loser? That's basically what Xi Jinping was saying. But he sat down with Starmer. And what are the first things that come out of Starmer's mouth? What are the first things that he talks about? He talks about Hong Kong, Taiwan, and human rights. It's like, bro, how dumb do you have to be to bring this up with China? Starmer, man. Starmer is not very bright. Not very bright at all. But you know, the funny thing is my sources who were at the meeting, so I had some sources who were sitting at the meeting, and my sources told me that Xi Jinping didn't even notice it because the minute Starmer started opening his mouth, Xi Jinping fell asleep because he's so boring. So when Starmer was talking about Hong Kong and Taiwan and human rights, Xi Jinping was asleep. He's like, and then they had to wake him up, and he's like, what? God, this guy is boring. this new British prime minister is boring. And then they told him he talked about Taiwan and Hong Kong and human rights, and that's when Xi Jinping said, "Get out of here, get out of here." And the Chinese security actually kicked out the media, from what I understand. They actually got the media to leave when Starmer started opening up his mouth and talking about all these things, human rights in Hong Kong. Starmer, man. I'm telling you, that guy is making a fool of the UK. Everywhere he goes, he embarrasses the UK. What is this? As a restaurant, Latin American and Asia, and the food we cook draws on the recipes of our mothers and grandmothers. Our roots are in Latin America and Asia. Umo, I guess that's how you pronounce it. Beautiful, huh? Very, very nice restaurant. So yeah, Starmer made a fool of himself, but Biden takes the cake for making a fool of himself, of an entire country. Biden and Trudeau, who would have guessed that Biden and Trudeau would be the laughingstock of the G20? So they take the group photo, and Biden's missing. Biden's not in the group photo. From what I understand, Trudeau was not in the group photo. They were like behind a tree or something like that. And they missed the group photo. Biden was wandering off. Trudeau was with Biden. I don't know what the hell was going on. But yeah. Oh my God. And then you had Biden speaking in the jungle. What was that about? I thought that was AI. When I saw that, Biden wearing his aviator glasses, wearing that shirt, dress shirt, that button-down dress shirt showing his pecs. Biden was showing off his pecs, and he was speaking in the jungle. I thought it was AI. I didn't think it was real. That's why I didn't post it yesterday. Otherwise, that would have been my opening video, my opening video clip. But it was real. What? What is going on? And he walks off into the jungle? Biden, there's one jungle Joseph. Now we have a jungle Biden? We have Jungle Joseph, and now we have Jungle Joe. Man. Oh, beautiful, huh? Budapest. Budapest is beautiful. So yeah, I thought it was AI. That's why I didn't post that video. I said, this is not real. Turned out it was real. At least that's the information that I'm getting. Gosh, I hope it's not AI. I don't think it is. That was weird. And then he walks off into the jungle. Biden has outdone Jungle Joseph. Well done, Professor Biden. Jungle Joe. Jungle Joe outdoes Jungle Joseph. All right, let's do some clown worlds and we will wrap this video up, right? Yeah, let's do some clown worlds. So let's do 2 clown worlds. And the first clown world is Annalena 360. Annalena 360. She's threatening China. So I talked about the, I don't know, do you guys remember when I talked about the evidence that Jungle Joseph had? I think it was like 2-3 days ago that Jungle Joseph had evidence that that there was one China factory, one Chinese factory that was supplying drones, that was manufacturing drones for Russia, for the Russian war machine, right? I don't know if you guys can make that out. And Annalena got a look at this evidence. And let's go down this way. I think I was actually here yesterday evening. Interesting. Kind of walked from the back streets and ended up where I was yesterday, kind of. But yeah, Annalena got a look at this evidence of this Chinese factory that's manufacturing drones. And so what did Annalena say when she saw this evidence of China funding the war machine? Annalena decided to warn China. That's right. Annalena threatened China. Get this. She threatened China with consequences. Yeah. That's what she said. China is going to face consequences if this evidence that Jungle Joseph presented is indeed true and there is a factory somewhere in China that is making drones for Ukraine. By the way, the drones that Ukraine uses are also Chinese drones, or most of their parts are Chinese. So I don't know how they deal with that fact. They know that the drones that Ukraine uses are Chinese or have Chinese parts, but it's the one factory that is making the drones for Russia. That's the problem, not the factory that is making drones for Ukraine, right? Anyway, consequences. That's what Annalena said. Consequences. Germany warning China. It's an Annalena 360 warning. That's right. The Annalena 360 warnings. You know how they work, right? They're they're in a circle, man. The warnings are circular. So she sends a warning to China and the thing goes around in a circle. That's how the German Annalena Foreign Ministry warnings work. I imagine that China is very afraid. So if you're watching this video and you're from China, you must be very, very afraid of Annalena Baerbock's warning. I know what it's like to get a warning from Annalena Baerbock. She's 360, 720i tough. Anyway, that's the first clown world. I'm rambling on. And the final clown world is Mika and Joe of Morning Joe, MSNBC. They're going to meet with Trump. Or no, they've met with Trump. I just don't think it's aired yet, but they went to Mar-a-Lago and they sat down with President-elect Trump. So they went to Mar-a-Lago and they met with the mustache man, right? They've been calling him the mustache man for the last 6 years, right? 8 years, 10 years, I don't know, 7 years, however long they've been going after Trump. They've been calling him the mustache man. That's what they've been calling him. There's nothing more evil than Trump, they've been saying. Nothing in the world is more evil than Trump. Nothing. And then they go down to Mar-a-Lago to meet with him, right? And do an interview. Nonsense, man. It's all BS. It's all freaking BS in theater. Anyway, that's the video, everybody. TheDuran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and X. Go to the Duran shop. Pick up some merch. The link is in the description box down below. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to this channel. Have a very, very good night.